What if you don't have a lot of space, but you still want a beautiful garden area? Well, head to your local big box store and grab yourself one of those over-the-door shoe hangers. This is going to be great. So I decided to fill every other pouch instead of each one, hoping that these flowers will fill in. I'm going to place impatiens in every other one. You'll also notice that I'm staggering them, so this creates a nice little effect when it's going to hang. To hang mine, you can hang it on a door. I tried our shed door, but it was too thick, so I had this extra trellis laying around, so I propped it up to display on the trellis, and it worked out perfectly. If you're also limited for space in storing the things that you use in the garden, like seeds, or you have those packages that don't reseal or that seeds that people have given you, this great little container from the dollar store is perfect. You can easily put your seeds inside these small compartments, and I like to add a little label onto it. Put it in the holder, and there you go. You've got a great way to save your seeds and know which is which, and save some space, which is a really valuable commodity. Want to have some herbs indoors this season? Well, head over to your local hardware store and grab just a simple piece of wood. About an inch thick works. When you get it home, I went ahead and decided to paint mine. I wanted to have a little bit of color, and I also grabbed some brass knobs, brass look, I should say. Next, I measured out how many plants I wanted hanging on this, and I thought 3 would be a good number. Then I took my drill and made some pilot holes for the knobs that I had gotten to use, and this made it really easy to then attach the knobs just using my hand, and you can use a screwdriver or a drill if you want it to go a little bit faster. Once I secured those knobs, I also added a hook onto the back that it could hang from. Now it was time for me to pot up my herbs. I ended up getting this large basil plant. So what I like to do is just use some simple mason jars, and you can put some rocks in the bottom if you want to make sure that you don't overwater and your plants develop root rot. But I decided to skip that step, thinking that I was going to use these up pretty quickly. I used some really heavy-duty twine to wrap around the lip of the mason jar, and then just tied a knot in them and hung one on each knob. They slanted to the side naturally, which is great because they actually are pointed toward the light and toward the window.
For today's project, I'm going to head down to my local hardware store. I'm going to grab some closet poles that expand. I'm also going to grab some brackets. I got a great idea what I'm going to use these for. These poles are really cool. One is larger than the other, but on the end I've got a cap with a screw. I need to take that off. Now I'm going to go inside the house, measure with these poles, put them together from floor to ceiling, and mark the height of my ceiling. Then I need a drill bit for that screw hole. And what I'm going to do is I need to put these two together. So I'm going to mark it exactly the height I need, and I need a pre-drill. When I go through these, what I'm going to do is get it through, and then I'm going to attach it back again with the screw. This is going to be perfect size that I need. Once I get this all put together, the next step is I'm going to take the smallest drill bit I can find and pre-drill. Now, this is a self-tapping screw. Do you see it's got a little drill bit on the end? It's perfect for metal poles. Don't push too hard, but you're going to put that first screw in, just let it go, but don't go all the way because we're going to put that bracket on and slide it into place. Then we can take a pencil and mark exactly where our next screw needs to go. We can go ahead and pre-drill that also and put the screw in, but we need to take it back out because we're just making the hole. Put the bracket in, again, like we did before, slide it right into place as it clamps there, and then we're going to go ahead and put the screw in. Now, don't push too hard, just let the drill do its job. Once we get that first one in, we're going to put the second one, but this one's going to be at a slight angle. We're going to do that, mark the hole just like the first one, and put the screw in and make it secure. Let's head on inside now. We're going to put that bracket that comes with the poles into the ceiling. These are white, so it matches the ceiling, and then we're going to pop it into place. It's actually going to be really secure all the way to the floor. Now, let's take some twine because we're going to hang some plants, but we're going to do this ourselves. We're going to put a knot in a nice big loop. You can just go ahead and make this loop any size you want, from big to small. Make sure that knot is secure. And then what we're going to do is take it, fold it up just like you see in the picture right here, and then we're going to give it a little twist right at the end of that first inside loop. Take your plant and we're going to place it right on top of where the strings cross. Now, take that top loop, Fold it up and over and back through again. Give it a little tug and we're going to pull some of that slack out. Then take that top loop and fold it over the plant. With the little side magic right here, we're going to pull it over and back through again, and then go ahead and take all that slack out slowly but surely, and watch this. It's going to pull against our pot and it's going to hang really nice. Look at that. I can do with all of those, and I made my own hanging plants. Once I hang all of these up, make them secure and straight, and it looks great hanging right in the corner. It was actually a pretty dull corner to begin with, and now I've got some plants hanging up right inside. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did.
I have this stationary door that goes out to my patio, and I wanted to do something different with it, so I ran down to the hardware store and picked up some 24-inch long pieces of wood. I measured and marked the wood, 1 inch from the end and 1 inch from the side. I knew that my rope was a 1/4 inch thick, so I made 5/8 inch large holes so that the rope would slide through easily. Once I had those ready, I went ahead and slid my rope in and tied a knot at the bottom to make sure that the wood would stay securely on top of the knot. It did. I needed my plant shelves to be even on both sides of the rope, so I made a 20-inch measurement and marked it. I knew that that's where I was going to make my next knot and add my next piece of wood. I repeated that process until I had 5 shelves in place. I then secured the rope on the curtain rod that I already had on the door. This allowed me to hold it in place while I worked on the other side, trying to make sure to keep everything even. I made sure everything was straight, and then I started to work my way down using the leftover rope. I worked my way down through the wood and tied a knot so that I could additionally secure it. Once I had everything in place, it was hanging really nicely, but I did notice that some of my plant shelves were not perfectly level. The good thing about this rope is that it was very easy for me to loosen the knot and move it and adjust it so that it could be perfectly in the place where I needed it. Once that was done, I set my plants in place and enjoyed my new floating planter shelves. This project would work great on a window. It doesn't have to be on a door. And it would also look great if you finish out the wood with any paint or stain or decor of your choice. I love the way the light still comes into the room, but I get to highlight some beautiful plants for springtime. I hope this inspires you to create some floating plant shelves of your own.
Head to Dollar Tree and pick up 3 glass carafes and twine. Take twine and wrap, tie, and secure around the glass. Tie into a knot to secure. Take an indoor plant and clip parts of the plant off. Add water to the glass bottles and then add clippings to the water. Hang a curtain rod and add more twine or rope from the rod to the twine connected to the bottles. There you have it, a cheap way to create your own easy living window valance to propagate plants. I hope this inspired you to try this DIY decor project in your home. Thanks for watching Home Talk, and see you next time.